this is why I haven't taught a public class about it. I can't actually tell you why this works. I would love to give you more context about boundaries. I'm assuming if you're in this class, you probably already know what boundaries are. Most people who struggle with weight and emotional eating, and especially women, we tend to not be good at boundaries. And I've just found that personally for me, all the books that I've read and you know, all the books that I read and the courses that I took about setting boundaries, they didn't really work. Very well, right? I could give context to like it gave me context to like why I have bad boundaries, but it didn't really help me fix it. And so what I have found with setting boundaries, and one of the reasons that people don't do them, is because it brings up a lot of deep shame. And so what ends up happening usually is we'll let somebody kind of override our boundary, or we won't even know where our boundary is because we're afraid that if we speak up, something bad is going to happen, or we're going to feel bad. We'll feel bad about ourselves, or we feel bad saying something, right? Like how many of you have that experience where you're like, oh, I can't say something, I'm going to feel bad, right? What's the bad feeling? It's shame, right? It's not fear usually. Sometimes it might be fear, but usually it's shame. So, um, anyway, you can use this with all sorts of different situations and people in your life. But I actually, when I was thinking about it recently, I remembered when I was on my man-free diet. I don't know if you guys have been around long enough to hear me talk about that, but I did that about 4 or 5 years ago. I went on a man-free diet. I didn't talk to men or didn't, engage in any kind of like flirtation or anything like that for 6 months. And I realized it was because, I realized that I was kind of addicted to the attention and I was like a love addict was the technical, I guess, psychological definition. And so I challenged myself to get healthier around that subject. And anyway, one of the things that I started doing was I remember doing this tapping session where I had both of my parents and I was setting boundaries with them. Um, and it's a very simple exercise. Like when we go through it, it'll seem pretty simple. But I really think that the majority of the boundaries, like the majority of the changes that I've made came from that session. So again, full disclosure, I'm not working with any clients right now. I haven't really tested this with that many people. So this is just based on like, it's like 5 years later and I'm realizing like, fuck, that really did change my life. Like it's taken me a long time to even realize it. And this is the power of tapping. Obviously a lot of you know, and I always talk about this, how we change so deeply that we forget the person that we used to be, so a lot of you might be going through and, I want to always offer this as a reminder because it even happens to me where it's like, you will change at such a deep level and you might not feel like you're making progress in this course. So that's why like keep a journal, keep notes, keep your limiting beliefs worksheet, write down when you have a big session or when you have a big shift, write it down, or if you're in the habit of journaling every day, keep track of who you used to be and the things you used to think, because I guarantee you're going to change on such a deep level, but it will be so easy and so natural that you won't feel like you did anything. And you won't feel like, and you might have moments where you feel like you're not making progress. Obviously with the emotional eating stuff, it's really easy to see like, am I eating emotionally anymore or not? Am I happier, or not? Like there's a way to measure that. But with boundaries, sometimes you don't really notice those things. Anyway, okay. I'm going to just dive right in because I have no idea what's going to happen. I think I would like to have 2 people participate. If you want to be on with me, please make sure that you don't have a lot of background noise and that you can stay for the full call. So if you'd like to be one of my participants, will you raise your hand? Cool. Ricky and Lisa. Awesome. Okay. Uh, okay. This is super raw, you guys. I'm sorry. It just came to me about an hour ago that I need to do this with you guys today. So, I don't even exactly know what I'm going to do. Okay. So Ricky, can you unmute yourself? And Lisa, will you unmute yourself as well? Hi.
Hi.
Hi. Thank you guys for being brave and volunteering. Um, okay, so I'll just kind of give you the overview. I don't think I've taught this. Has anybody watched a boundaries class that I taught? I know I taught it at one point, but I can't remember if we have. Have you guys watched the boundary class that I did? Okay.
Yes.
All right. It's in the course material. Is it boundaries with echo tapping, or is it boundary tapping? That's like a different. Do you know? I don't remember.
I think it started out as an echo, and then you went to the boundaries and you froze the person, and then you sent them off to the healing place, and then they came back and told you what they wanted, and then
okay,
finished up echo.
I think that's echo tapping. Okay, so I'm just going to give you like the overview of how boundary tapping works. So what's so interesting about boundary tapping is, or with boundaries in general, is usually when we set a boundary, like for instance, say something like, you want your husband to throw his socks in the laundry hamper instead of next to the laundry hamper, right? This is a really easy example. So you're like, hey, honey, it would be so great if you could please throw your socks in the laundry hamper and not on the outside of your hamper. And that sounds like a really nice way of saying it, right? But I'm going to give you another example of saying that, and I want you to just notice the difference. Hey, honey, I really, really need you to throw your socks in the hamper and not on the outside of the hamper. Can you do that for me, please? Okay, so the difference is the energy, my voice was coming from my belly center, and not from my head. The first one, it was coming from my head. Hey, will you be so like, will you please do this for me? Hi, I would really like it if you did this. Versus, listen, it's really important to me that you do this for me. Okay, this is important. The energy is completely different. The sound is completely different. So one of the goals of boundary tapping is I'm going to have you repeat some things over and over again. And I want everybody to, even though I'm going to be working with Ricky and Lisa, I want everybody to go through this as well. I just need some feedback from people to kind of know how to do this just because it's so new. So what I'm gonna have you do is I'm gonna have you repeat things over and over again. And the idea is that you want to say it. You'll notice that you're saying it from your head first, and you're gonna want to bring your energy and your attention down to your belly. And you want to keep repeating it over and over and over again until you can hear it in your belly. The sound of your tone will change too. You'll hear it in your voice, and I'll hear it as well. So, okay. Let's see. I don't know. Actually, I don't know how to do this with two people. Maybe what I'll do is Ricky, I'll start off with you, and then we'll do it a couple times, and then I'll have you keep working on it, and then I'll go to Lisa. Maybe that's how we'll do this. Okay, cool. So I want both of you, actually everybody, to think about your parents. I want you to think about your parents, and I want you to place them like they're in a room in front of you at a safe distance out in front of you, or actually just notice where your subconscious mind places your parents. Notice how far or how close they are. Ricky, if you had to imagine your parents kind of like in your atmosphere, where would they be?
We're all sitting around a table. It's like their favorite thing to do.
Okay, cool. So what is your experience with boundaries in your life?
I tend to be very black and white with things. I tend to be very permissive and let it slide. I was raised with a lot of criticism and judgment, so I'm really cautious to not be like that. But in that process of that, I ignore my intuition a lot. And then I put up with it, and then I get to a point where
Ricky, something happened to your microphone, and
yes,
yeah, better.
I'll move closer to hopefully better connection for you. So sorry about that.
No, it's okay. It just like something just covers the microphone.
Okay, how's that?
Yeah, good.
Okay, I won't move.
Okay.
Okay, so did you get that?
Yeah. Okay, cool. So, all right. So I'm going to have you say some general statements, and let's do it together. And I'm going to test it out. So I want you to see both of your parents, and I think we need to work with one. One and then the other. Okay. Who's the first one that you want to work with, mom or dad?
Dad.
Very cool. All right. So just put mom off to the side, keep dad wherever he is. And as you tap through the points, I just want you to say, Dad, that's not okay. It's not okay for you to treat me that way.
Dad, it's not okay. Do you want me to say this out loud, or do you want me to?
Yeah, I do, because I want to hear, and I want everybody to also hear the sound of your voice. So, okay, when you say, Dad, it's not okay, say that again. Dad, it's not okay.
Dad, it's not okay.
Good. Okay. So the first one was higher than the second one. So did you feel that, how it changed? Cool. Okay. So tapping through the points, Dad, that's not okay.
Dad, that's not okay.
Good. Dad, that's not okay.
That's not okay.
It's not okay to treat me this way.
It's not okay to treat me this way.
It's not okay to treat me that way.
Not okay to treat me that way.
Stop it.
Stop it.
I deserve to be treated well.
I deserve to be treated well.
Okay, so see how you went up there a little bit? Did that feel harder for you to say?
No, I pretty much have got some solid boundaries with him. I really don't put up with any of his shit, because he's a narcissist and he's really self-centered, and I just had it with him. So I have to call him out. He's kind of scared of me right now, which works for me. But it's still in me. Like, my inner child is still feeling the pain. So where the adult has been able to say, this is not okay, you're a narcissist, you're toxic, the child is still wounded.
Yeah, I could also hear in your tone that you didn't quite believe that either. Like, I don't deserve to be treated. And just so you know, everybody, like, we all have low self-esteem. Like, we're all born, and that's just a product of being a human, is that we have low self-esteem, and we don't fully believe that we deserve everything. So good. Okay, so do that again. I deserve to be treated well.
I deserve to be treated well.
Good. Keep saying that, and try to say that from your belly center. Bring that down into your core.
I deserve to be treated well. I deserve to be treated well.
I deserve to be treated well. Like, you want to do it with emphasis.
I deserve to be treated well. I deserve to be treated well.
Yeah, keep tapping through the points. Keep trying to bring it down.
To be treated well.
Good.
I deserve to be treated well. I deserve to be treated well.
No. Okay. So Ricky, you're still saying it from your head and not from your belly. This is going to be hard. Okay. So don't worry. Like, if you feel emotional, or if it feels like, if you have something come up, let me know. But I can hear it in your voice that you're stuck up here. So there's something about the deservingness that's more challenging than the, like, that's not okay. So I can hear that you've practiced the it's not okay a lot, which is great. Super good. That was easier for you to get down to your belly, but the I deserve to be treated well, or I deserve to be treated with love, that's more challenging for you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So let's keep going. Can you keep going?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, cool. So I deserve to be treated well.
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 Good. Say it more slowly. It's actually harder to say more slowly than it is to say fast. I deserve to be treated well.
I deserve to be treated well.
There you go. Good. You're getting there now.
I deserve to be treated well.
Do it again.
I deserve to be treated well.
Good. Again.
I deserve to be treated well.
Good. And then go back to, it's not okay.
It's not okay.
It's not okay to treat me that way.
It's not okay to treat me that way.
Great. Great. You're really, you're empowered on that one. I deserve to be treated with love.
I deserve to be treated with love.
I deserve to be loved.
I deserve to be loved.
Good. I deserve to be loved.
I deserve to be loved.
Good. And not everybody's going to feel like this, but I certainly did, where I had to do something with both of my parents because I felt that there was this enmeshment of them. Both my parents are narcissists as well. And like there was just a lot of enmeshment. So I had to be like, get out, get out, get out, get out. So like I had to like energetically like push both of them away. So does that feel like something, or do you feel kind of disconnected from him that you've already done that?
I've pushed him away and I'm pretty disconnected with him because of their age, especially my mom. I don't want to alienate her. So she's his doormat. She's not a narcissist, but she just has some of those behaviors because it's what she's learned from him, but she's actually his doormat. She's his enabler.
Okay. So you disconnecting from her energy though, is just getting out of your body. It doesn't mean that you're going to disconnect from her. It's just that your energy, what I find with most people with bad boundaries is your energy is enmeshed like this. And so there's something really, really healing and really healthy about just saying, this is my body. That's your body. Mm-hmm. Right. So just get a sense of your body right now and just scan your body and see if there's any of either of your parents, see if you feel kind of like their body is in yours, or if they feel some sort of ownership. Like I remember feeling like they sort of owned me. And I mean, that does make sense, right? Like I don't have children of my own, but I can imagine as a parent, you would kind of feel like you own your child. It comes from you. So I can understand it, but it's also not a good feeling as I'm a separate human. So just feel if there's anything kind of like ownership or enmeshment that would feel good to untangle.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's somebody talking outside. Sorry, I'm gonna shut my door. Okay, cool. So, here's my neighbors home. Okay, sorry. Okay, which one do you want to do first?
Dad, just stay with him.
Okay, cool. So feel that. How do you experience it? Do you feel like his body is inside of yours, or do you feel like this tangling feeling, or how do you know that he's like you're kind of enmeshed?
I feel like my inner child is still enmeshed with him, with wanting to be accepted, wanting to be loved, wanting to be complimented, wanting to be told that I was loved and worth spending time with and worth spending money on. Perfect. Okay. Yeah, you're right. And it's good. That's a good distinction, is that you're right. The adult in us is usually aware and understands like I am separate, but you're right. It's, I guess whenever I do all my work, I revert back to the inner child because that's what I'm used to working with, but I didn't specify that. So I'm glad you brought that up. So yeah, this is like a smaller child kind of feeling where yeah, a lot of our inner children are going to still be very entangled and enmeshed with our parents. Yeah. Okay. So picture yourself, imagine yourself there smaller, feel that like enmeshment, and just like get out, get out, get out, and just do whatever you need to do to push and say, get out, get out, get out. Like strong. You want to do it strong. Okay. And like, you can do this, and I'll mute you so that you can feel free to go. And then I'll come back and check in, and I'm going to go find Lisa. Okay. Sounds good.
Okay, cool. Thanks. All right. I see you ladies doing this along with us. Cool. I'll answer questions about this. Yeah. Good. Everyone's doing the get out. Good. Okay. Hey, Lisa, how's it going?
Hello. Good.
Okay. So I saw you tapping along with me and Ricky. What happened for you in the first couple of rounds of that?
Well, my first thought was I have two children in the house and I can't really start yelling and screaming, but I can definitely get into this emotionally. So it's okay.
Okay, cool. Yeah. I guess it's not really screaming, but it's speaking like strongly.
Forcefully. Yeah.
So, okay. So how did you do with that? So if you have both the parents there, which one did you start working with first?
I started working with my dad just because Ricky had started working with her dad, but my mother is really the one that I need to work with first.
Okay, cool. So let's imagine your mom is there in front of you, or somewhere in your arena, and tell me where she's located.
So she's like 3,000 miles away. I can't even imagine her in the same room. She's
okay. So when you imagine her though, where is she in your mind's eye?
She's at her house 3,000 miles away.
Oh. But if I'm like, okay, bring your mother.
Oh, bring her into the room with me?
Bring her into the room with you. Where is she in the room?
I don't even want her in the room, but if I bring her into the room, yeah, she's in front of me, but I don't feel comfortable having her there, but I will for this exercise.
Yeah, okay. All right, cool. So, all right, so tapping through the points. Mom, it's not okay that you treat me. It's not okay.
Mom, it's not okay.
It's not okay for you to treat me this way.
It's not okay for you to treat me this way.
Okay. it's not okay for you to treat me this way.
It is not okay for you to treat me this way.
Okay, good. Do you feel how you're doing that from your head?
Still, yeah.
Yeah, cool. Okay, so we're just going to repeat the same thing over and over, and you're just going to keep bringing it down into your belly. And I want you to go really slow. Mom, it's not okay for you to treat me this way.
Mom, it's not okay for you to treat me this way.
Good.
Mom,
Again.
it's not okay for you to treat me this way. Mom, it's not okay for you to treat me this way. Mom, it is not okay for you to treat me this way. I'm getting pissed.
Yeah, good. I can feel it. Yeah.
Mom, it is not okay for you to treat me this way.
Now, Lisa, do the get out, get out, get out, get out, get out, get out.
Get out, get out, get out, get out, get out, get out.
You don't tap for this. Just move your hands and push it away. Push them.
Get
Push your
out, get out, get out, get out, get out, get out, get out.
Get out, get out.
Get out, get out, get out, get out, get out.
Good. Do you feel like she's out?
Yes,
Good. Okay, so go back to tapping through the points. You're doing great, Lisa. This is great.
thanks.
Okay, so keep tapping through the points. And again, go back to Mom, it's not okay for you to treat me this way.
Mom, it is not okay for you to treat me this way.
Good.
Mom, it is not okay for you to treat me this way.
It's not okay for you to treat me this way.
It is not okay for you to treat me this way.
I deserve to be treated well.
I deserve to be treated well. I'm back up in my head, I think.
Yep. Yeah, you can
Yeah.
feel it. That's good. So it's good to notice the difference.
Yep.
All right, good. So now work on that one. I deserve to be treated well.
I deserve to be treated well. I deserve to be treated well. I deserve to be treated well. I deserve to be treated well. I deserve to be treated well. Feels better.
Yeah, it's a lot better. Keep going. You still have a few more to go.
I deserve to be treated well.
Mom,
I deserve
to be treated. I deserve to be treated with love.
Mom, I deserve to be treated with love. Mom, I deserve to be treated with love. Mom, I deserve to be treated with love.
It's not okay for you to treat me that way.
It's not okay for you to treat me that way.
Do
It's
that one.
not okay for you to treat me that way.
Yeah, you got to go slower with this one. It's not okay for you to treat me that way.
It's not okay for you to treat me that way.
I don't deserve to be treated this way.
I don't deserve to be treated this way.
I deserve only the best.
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 Do it again.
I deserve only the best.
Good. You see how you had a hard time with only, and then you went a little bit longer. It took longer on that word, and then that helped you drop into it. Could you feel that?
Yep, I did.
Good. Do it again.
I deserve only the best. I deserve only the best. I deserve the best. I do. I feel it.
Good. Good. Okay. What else do you want to say to her? So like, it's not okay for you to speak to me in that way. Does that land?
No, my mother's thing is, her favorite saying is that a mother is only as happy as her unhappiest child.
Okay.
And so she looks at whatever's going on in my life as a reflection on her. So for me, I really want her to back off. It's my life. It's not hers.
Okay.
It's my body. It's not hers.
Okay, good. Say that. This is my body, not yours.
This is my body, not yours.
Keep going with that.
This is my body, not yours. 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 You don't own me. You don't own me. You don't own me. You don't own me.
You don't own me.
You don't own me.
Good. Tap. This is hard, I know, and I'm tapping fast too. If you tap slower, it's hard to do, but if you tap slower, it'll actually shift faster.
Okay.
And now that we're speaking slower, it'll be easier to tap slower. You don't own me.
You don't own me.
Great.
You don't own me. I keep speeding up the tapping.
Yeah,
You
I know. It's hard.
don't own me. You don't own me. You don't own me. You don't own me. That feels very solid.
It does feel solid. Good.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. I'm glad you can feel when you get there. Do you feel like you need to do another get out, get out, get out?
No, I think claiming my body was big.
Okay. This is my body, not yours. Do you feel, say that one again?
This is my body, not yours. This is my body, not yours.
Okay. You got it. Yeah. The funny thing about boundaries, you guys, is that people, when you say boundaries from your head, they literally can't even hear you. This is why, like, I mean, I know we've all had this experience where you say something to somebody over and over and over again, and it's not until you lose your fucking shit that they're like, whoa, where did this come from? You're like, are you serious? Like, what? You know, and it's because it's not until you finally explode that you probably say it from your belly center. You say your anger is third chakra. That's your belly. That's your core center. So until you get angry, until you explode, people literally can't even hear you. They can't even understand you. Anyway, so this will help you in so many ways, and it'll also help the people around you too, because they'll actually be able to hear you, you know. And I know that doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but this is why boundaries are so difficult and why you can say them over and over again and people don't really get it. And it's literally because you say it from your head and you're not energetically aligned with it. You don't believe what you're saying to them, which is why you say it from your head, and that's why they don't hear you. When you actually embody this and you believe what you're saying, then, and you say it from a place of power, or just when you say it from a place of belief, like you won't have to try to do this, Lisa. Like this will just roll off your tongue. Like everybody here, like you won't have to try to say it slow. We're saying it slow for the healing part of it. But the next time something happens, you'll just notice something will just fly out of your mouth that will be like a healthy boundary that you'll set for you, that you'll set for yourself. So yeah, so we're speaking slowly to help you, and we're bringing the energy in and we're repeating it over and over again until you basically embody it and believe it. So that's what we're doing. That's what this exercise is basically doing. All right. Cool. Lisa, let's see. I want you to do the same thing with your dad. And then I'm going to read some of the chat. There's some of the comments people are asking about, and I'll come back to you.
So I'll mute myself.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, Britt, is there a reason to start with the parents? My mother died when I was 20, so I don't think I have boundary issues with her, but when I do then on my ex, it feels more powerful. Yeah. So many times, well, not many times, we learn boundaries from our parents or from whoever raised you. So if your mother died when you were 20, she still raised you. And I think everybody has boundary issues, and it's not like a bad thing, but like, I mean, unless you're a fucking psychologist, it's really hard to have good boundaries with people. So it's not something that is taught in our culture. It's not something that it's not even intuitive, because we grow up with boundaries of our parents. And so we don't really understand, people don't really understand what boundaries are. So the reason that I start with the parents is, you can use this with your ex, of course, but it's because those are the people that basically gave us the conditioning for the boundaries. And so what I found is when I changed it with my parents, it had this spillover effect with my friends, my family. And yeah, I've done it with relationships specifically, but I didn't really have to do that much more boundary tapping. I kind of just did it on both of my parents, and then it spilled over into every other relationship that I had. So it might feel more triggering, but I actually want to challenge you on that too, because I'm very close with my father. Like my father and I have a great relationship, but we have some fucked up boundaries. He has some fucked up boundaries with me, and they're boundaries that I just accepted. And, you know, part of it was just subconsciously kind of feeling like he felt this ownership of me, and like, he's my dad, and my father's very macho, and he's like caretaker, big guy, like, and like there's something that's really beautiful and comforting about that. But at the same time, when I really felt into it, I'm like, this guy feels like he owns me, and I feel like he does too, you know? And so anyway, that was my one thing with my dad. If you guys want, we can do like some Q&A, and you can tell me about your specific situation, and I can help you. Yeah. So just unmute yourself if you want to jump in, if you have a question. I definitely got issues from my dad, which I've repeated with the ex. I just didn't get it with my mom. I want to hug her when I visualize her. Okay, cool. Yeah. Should we think of a memory where they did something bad when we do this work? You know, honestly, Evelyn, I don't know. When I was doing this, I didn't picture anything specifically. It was more about using those words with them, right? If you're like, hey, I don't deserve to be treated that way. You know, I deserve to be loved. I deserve to be treated well. It kind of doesn't matter. These are general like beliefs and empowerment statements that we're trying to make you believe. So it kind of doesn't matter. Like, this is one of those, to be honest with you, I can't explain to you why this works. I can feel it. I can see it. I intuitively understand why this works, but I can't put it into words yet. So I know that I'm explaining this really in a clunky way, but I'm really hoping that you guys play with this, and let's talk about it and post in the Facebook group about it too. Like, I really am curious to hear your feedback on this, and to see what happens over the next month that you guys work on. Well, obviously the next like several months or the rest of your life, but like, I want to hear what you guys are noticing about things.
I have a follow-up question to
yes.
that. So I was getting emotional when it was mostly around the word deserve, especially around like, I deserve love, and this is my body, because I was raised by an alcoholic that I pretty much felt like a slave. So since I'm getting emotional, do I keep going until I feel strong? Because like with Lisa, it seemed to be clearing quickly early, and I'm like, I'm nowhere close to that yet.
Evelyn, when I was doing this, I was sobbing, like, like I was like a wreck. So
Okay.
yeah, you're right. Both of these girls shifted very quickly. I did not have that experience, but I tapped very deeply for about an hour, both my parents with, so 30 minutes each maybe. And like, that was, so yeah, if you're feeling emotional, tap through that. And like I said, like, I asked Lisa, like, hey, what else is coming up? Like, there might be some things intuitively. I think she was the one that said, this is my body, not yours, or I don't know. She said something that I didn't say. So yeah, if you feel like those things, so there are some empowering statements and there are some disempowering statements though. So don't treat me like that is not the same as I deserve to be treated well. Do you know what I mean? Don't treat me like that is defensive, and I deserve to be treated well is an empowered statement. You might not know the difference though. Like, don't treat me like that kind of sounds like a boundary, right? It sounds like, you're setting a boundary. You're telling the person not to treat you that way, but that's not the same. So is there anything, Evelyn, that's coming up for you that like you feel like you want to say, and to just clarify some of the statements for you?
Honestly, it was just those areas that I know, like I know I have insecurities about being loved just because of how I grew up. So being worthy and deserving of love and respect is hard for me, and it showed up in relationships. So it's like when we went there with, especially Lisa,
I deserve to be respected. That's another great one.
okay. But it was the I deserve, like, I think the worst one was I deserve to be treated with love, because I'm like, that's love and deserve at the same time. And I'm like, no.
Yeah.
So do I just keep going in as strong a voice, cry through? Okay, I'm okay if I have to cry for 4 hours and get through this. Okay. Okay.
Do it, Evelyn, do it, please. And report back to me and let me know what happens.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Gail, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hi.
Hi.
Joining the call a little bit late. I just got back from first time seeing a naturopath. Long story short, I've been going through a lot of problems with diverticulitis, been in a lot of pain, been through rounds of antibiotics, and which have made me sick. And so I have not been doing the program just because I'm so miserable. Food, I don't know what to eat, this, that, and I'm just really, really frustrated. So I did get a little bit of answers today of what's been going on with my system. And because I had, in a nutshell, my stomach is not producing hydrochloric acid, which is causing food to not digest well, and a bunch of other things. But
did you have, what's your specific question? Did you have questions about what we just did today, or is this something?
No, I have questions about what I should do for tapping, because I'm all over the place with food and stuff. I can't do the push the food away because, and I can't go out and buy foods that trigger and stuff like that. I'm just, you know what I mean? I don't know what to do.
Why not? Why can't you push the food away?
Because usually it's with foods that you want to eat.
And you don't want to eat anything right now?
Well, I do, but it's very minimal what I can eat. It's very bland and not a lot of fiber. And
okay. So you're going to be desiring and craving different foods, even though you're not allowed to eat them technically because of the diet that I'm sure they have you on.
Right.
So when you do the push the food away, you're already in it. You have so many opportunities to do it, because it's the struggle, it's the craving, it's the desire to eat something different. That's where you start.
Okay.
So don't worry. When people get overwhelmed, I always say, just pick one thing and focus on that one thing for the next month. Okay. So just focus on doing push the food away, but you're not going to do it actually push it away. You're just going to feel when you have that struggle, when you're like, oh, I have to eat this, but I really want this. Feel the desire for what I really want is this. Again, when I did this, I was just making up food in my mind. I didn't have food in front of me. Well, no, that's not true. I did it with the chocolate bar first, but then with everything else, I just would imagine it's there and then push it away. So you don't actually have to have the food. You're struggling with that desire. You're like, I gotta eat this bland food, but this is what I really want. So imagine what you really want is there, push that away, and then go back in time. Tapping is actually what you need right now. And I would venture to say that if you work on this, the other stuff in your life is going to get better too. Let's just try it for a month and see what happens.
Yeah.
You don't need to change anything. You don't need to do anything other than what you're doing right now. So I think that's a good place for you to start. And then let's check in next month, and I can, we'll either keep going with that, or I can give you some new instructions.
Yeah. Because I'm really angry about the whole situation, and feel like I'm being punished in some way, because I can't.
I want you to start with the push the food away. And then maybe next month we'll do anger work. But right now, just do push the food away.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
You're welcome, Gil. All right. Who else has questions about what we did today, or need some clarity? I'm happy to provide clarity as well. If you're like, oh, I wasn't really sure. Let's see. I'm going to just read some. Just go ahead and unmute yourself if you do. I got very emotional. Also, my dad was distant. My dad was distant. My mom was in space. I had a few memories come up about my mom mistreating me. Yeah, cool. I think I did that too, actually. When I was telling them, no, that's not okay. No, that's not okay. There were a few situations that like flashed in my mind. But for me, it wasn't about having to go into those situations. It was just being empowered with those statements. Will this work in other areas of your life? For example, addressing employees at work or standing up to your boss? Absolutely. Okay. So I think when I did this for the coach certification, I had a girl who, her issue was, she wanted to go, let's see. she wanted to stop drinking, but every time she goes out with this group of friends, she feels like she has to drink with them. So what we did is we worked on her boundaries with just saying, no, I don't want to have a drink. I'm okay not having a drink. No, I'm not going to drink today. No, I'm not going to drink today. And she just, no, I'm here. I'm not going to drink. I'm not going to drink today. I'm not going to drink today. And she just kept saying that while I had her visualize being around those people. And she said she went out, she had like a glass and a half of wine. She felt super, super good. I think she like cut her alcohol consumption in half after that. So absolutely. So this is the deal, is you want to figure out, like, standing up to your boss, totally, like, hey, it's not okay that you treat me this way. I mean, all these statements can be used for any kind of boss situation or any kind of, relationship situation, especially if you're being mistreated and the boundaries are being crossed and things like that. You can also do this you can also like have conversations. Gosh, I remember when we did this at the event, the girl that did this with the event, I could just tell her she was working with her husband, and I can't remember specifically what it was, but it was so difficult for her to say these things to him. I mean, she was like sobbing and she was just like, oh, so yeah, I mean, you can use it with anybody in your life that you feel like is bullying you, or, is kind of impeding on your space, crossing your boundaries. Would you use this when coaching someone with a history of sexual abuse? Yeah. Jill will talk about that in the coaching certification class, but yeah, of course. Okay, cool. Anybody else have clarifying questions or comments that you want to make? We have like 10 more minutes left, so I'm happy to, or we can just generic questions about where you're at in the program. Just go ahead and unmute yourself. Lisa, how are you feeling?
I feel like I could take on the world.
Yeah, you feel better?
I really do.
Cool. Okay. Yeah, you shifted really quickly. I'm going to check in with Ricky. Ricky, how do you feel?
I feel good. I think I've done a lot of emotionally getting rid of my father. It's that maintaining the attachment to my mother without torturing her. She's 85 years old. So it's like, that's not important with her anymore because she's in the early stages of dementia, and I don't want to make her feel bad about herself. He does enough of that.
You don't need to. What I would say though is to work with the younger version of your mom and your inner child.
Okay. Thank you for that.
Yeah. So I totally get that because my parents are getting older as well. My grandma also had dementia. She was an amazing woman. So I understand that you can't visualize them at the age they are now. You have to visualize them when they were younger, and you when you're younger too.
Mm-hmm.
I think that will work better for you.
Yeah.
But it's also a body thing. Like, this is my body, not yours. Like, I mean, I don't know how many of you are mothers, but like, I can imagine if somebody comes out of your body, like, you're going to feel like you own that person, And so I think there's something psychologically very healthy about just with every parent doing this with each of your parents and just saying, this is my body, and making that distinction. This is my body, not yours. This is my body, not yours. And just I don't know, for some reason that was really, really empowering and really important for me. And I don't know, maybe it's because both my parents are super narcissistic and very, like enmeshed, but I think probably everybody should do that, regardless of if you have a great relationship with your parent. If you have a great relationship with your parent, you probably need to do it even more. You're probably even more enmeshed, and you're probably even more, combined than you think you are. So yeah, I would love everybody to just experiment with this and see what happens over the next month.
And your email about the bar of soap, that hit home for me.
Oh, really?
Huge.
Yeah.
Huge. Because my mother read that same book and she did that. And one of the nannies did it. Fortunately, my little body went into reverse and I puked all over when she shoved that bar in my mouth. And they never did it again.
Oh, good.
Because they saw how harmful it was at that point, but the damage was done.
Yeah.
You know?
I forgot about that email.
Jill, it's a good one. It really hit home. So I just wanted to tell you that and thank you for that too.
Yeah, thank you. Actually, I that was one of the memories. That was a memory that came up in my therapy probably about a year ago. I wrote that email right after that therapy session, and I did do that. And that was one of the reasons. That was one of the ways. I think that was a memory-based boundary tapping that I did, where it was like, oh, she used to stick soap in my mouth. Now I can see how that I used to leave my body. I mean, if somebody sticks soap in your mouth or does something like sexual abuse or whatever, this is, I talk about this body boundary violation or sexual trauma. When somebody does something to you that's super overwhelming, you're going to learn to pop out of your body and not be fully in your body. And so often we'll compensate to, it actually doesn't feel good to not be in your body. So we'll compensate by eating food subconsciously to ground ourselves or to get back into our bodies. And so by tapping on body boundaries and sexual trauma, it helps us get back into our bodies in a safe way. Cool. Thank you.
Brittany, I had a quick question. I was in the chat earlier. When I was visualizing with the boundaries, my father was distant. And I'm wondering, should you still work on boundaries because my dad, it wasn't really a boundary issue. I always wanted him like more in my life. So is there something you can do with that with boundaries, or should you still work on boundary work with that? I'm just
Great question. Yes. So for people that struggle with abandonment, which I've felt that from my mother as well, but I still, so the boundary is, I deserve to be treated well. I deserve to be loved. I deserve for you to show up and be in my life. I deserve to have I deserve to be taken care of. So it would be things like that, April, that I would probably say.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Thanks.
Yeah, you're so welcome. Thank you for bringing that up. Anybody else have a question about this?
Hello.
Hi. Who's this?
Hi, Barbara.
Hi, Barbara.
Hi. I don't have a question about this. It's
Ask
about
me.
what, is that all right?
Yeah.
It's about where I am in the program.
Okay.
I'm on lesson 3, but lesson 2, I really got not stumped, but when I did it, I, I had the cravings. I really don't have a lot of I have cravings where I want something at some point, but to go to the ends of the earth to get it, no, I don't have that. So I did the ball of light, and it worked while I was doing it. But when I was all done, I just ate everything in sight. I just was right back before I was even tapping it all. And it kind of, I don't really want to do that ball of light because it feels like it had the opposite effect, or if it triggered something.
You hate everything in sight, like you don't like food anymore?
No, I ate everything in sight. I ate everything in sight.
With the ball of
I-
light, really? Oh, you're muting, and just keep yourself unmuted.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
so so you did it, and then did you get down to a 0?
Yeah. While I was doing it.
What food did you work on? What was the food?
Oh, it was these cupcakes that I like to eat the frosting off of.
Okay, so you got down to 0 to where you're like, I don't want to eat these cupcakes anymore, right? And you threw them away, walked away from them.
No, I didn't throw them away. This was just the craving part.
Okay, so you
Listen to.
Okay, so you were able to walk away from them, and then how long before you ate everything in sight after that?
Like right after I did that exercise.
Did you eat the
Right after I
cupcakes or
stopped. Yes.
you ate something different?
Pardon me?
You ate the cupcakes, or you ate?
I ate the cupcakes.
Okay.
Mini.
Yeah. Okay, good. So yeah, before you even started talking, I was thinking that it would be better for you to do the push the food away to get
Right.
That's in the bonus section. You've got access to that right now.
Right. That helps, the push the food away.
Okay.
But I was just concerned. As you say, you're supposed to go through all these lessons, and unless you do it, it's all not going to come together. But I really don't like that ball of light thing. It triggers something else in me.
Well, that's good, Barbara. If you're not getting triggered, you're not going to be making progress. So
Okay.
So the point, actually, my whole job is to trigger you, and that's why all the techniques that I've created are, maybe other than boundary tapping, are situations and visualizations that make you kind of get triggered so that we can heal this. So if you're triggered, that's awesome. What to do is, I would, number one, I'd probably rewind to go back to okay, after I finish the craving tapping, go back and remember how you were feeling when you were eating the cupcakes, and then do the push the food away from there.
Okay.
And then moving forward, let's just have you do push the food away. Every time you want to eat something junky, push the food away. Remember to do 3 rounds and get down to a 0. If you don't get down to a 0, you're going to go back and eat the food. And if you don't do 3 rounds, well, you might not, you've got to get to a 0. And if you need to use 3 rounds to get there, then you've got to do the 3 rounds.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Good question. All right, ladies, I hope that was helpful. Was that helpful? Do you feel like you got something out of this today? Okay, cool. Sorry, it was a bit clunky in the way that I presented it, but I hope you find it useful, and please give me feedback too about what you notice happens, and write your experience. If you go deeper with this, which I would encourage everybody to do this on your own, and just spend some time. Like I said, I only did one really, really big heavy duty tapping session with this one time, and it really changed my life. So this is one of those things that invest an hour of your time and it can change the rest of your life. But it's also something to have for, every situation that you're in, and with, anybody else that's driving you crazy. So, all right, everybody, have a fantastic holiday. Have a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. And I will see you all again next month.
Brittany, can I add something really quick?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so my ex-husband is a pretty big trigger for me too. So should I do my parents and then do him, or do my parents and then see how I feel?
Do your parents and then see how you feel, but probably do him too.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye, everybody.